Hello friends, welcome back to my lecture. So in this lecture, we are going to start with the effects of electric current. We are going to solve all the numericals related to this chapter, solved plus unsolved examples which are there in your exercise. We are going to solve all these numericals with all the calculations required. All the minor calculations will be done here. I'm going to divide this video into two parts. In the first part, we'll see all the required formulae for solving the numericals of this particular chapter, and in the next part we will look into the exercise problems that are given in your textbook. So these are the only 9 formulas that you will require to solve all the numericals related to effects of electric current. You can solve all or any problems that is given in your textbook using only these 9 formulae. Okay, so let's go through the formulae one by one. The first formula says P is equal to V square by R, where P is the power, V is the potential difference, and R is the resistance, as you know. I believe that you have studied the chapter entirely before solving the numericals. P is equal to power is equal to V into I, that is potential difference into current. And again, P is equal to I square into R. So you can solve the problems related to power using these 3 formula. So P is equal to V square by R, P is equal to V into I, and P is equal to I square by R. So based on the given property, that is based on the given what is given in your sum, you will decide which formula to be used for power. Next formula says V is equal to I into R. That is nothing but your Ohm's law. Okay. Then the fifth formula says power, that is in watt, is equal to potential difference, that is V, into current, that is in amperes. So power is equal to potential difference into current. So this becomes your third formula for solving power problems. Okay. The sixth formula is to calculate resistance. Now you have also learned this in your lower classes, where if the resistance or if the resistors are connected in series, your equivalent resistance becomes R1 plus R2 plus R3 and so on. If they are connected in parallel, your required resistance, it becomes this 1 by R equivalent. Okay. So 1 by R equivalent is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Or you can write it as R equivalent is equal to R1 into R2 upon R1 plus R2. So these are your 2 formulae for solving the resistance problems. In series, it is a different formula, and in parallel, it is a different formula. Now let's go to the next formula, that is electrical energy. Electrical energy E is equal to power into time. The 8th one says H is equal to P into T. Now this is the starting of your Joule's law derivation in your textbook. So using this formula, you can solve either the sum for power or you can solve the sum for heat as well. Also, you need to remember this particular conversion, that is very much important, because whenever you calculate power or the energy consumed in your particular in your house, what is it? It is given in units, and when we calculate the power, it is always in joules. Okay, the electrical energy when we calculate, it is in joules, and what is given in your household electrical bills, it is in units. So to convert your energy from joules to unit, this is the particular conversion, where 1 joule is equal to 1 by 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 units. So these are the only 9 formulae that you need to remember so as to solve any numerical which is given in your textbook. So let's move forward to our first solved example, which is given on your page number 50 of your textbook. So what does the numerical say? A 6-meter long wire made from an alloy, that is nichrome, is shaped into a coil and given for producing heat. It has a resistance of 22 ohms. Can we get more heat if the wire is cut into half of its original length and shaped into a coil? For getting energy, the two ends of the wire are connected to a source with a potential difference of 220 volt. Now, which is the formula that you will use here? Before knowing what is the formula, we need to see what is given in your sum. So let's note down what is given in your sum. So they have given you the length. Let's write down. The length of the wire is 6 meter. Afterwards, what is it given? It has a resistance of 22 ohms. R is equal to 22 ohms. Can we get more heat if the wire is cut into half of its original length and shaped into a coil? Nothing given part here. Next, the two ends of the wire are connected to a source with a potential difference of 220 ohms. 220 volts. So your potential difference, that is your voltage, is this. Fine. Now understand the sum very well. What have they told you is, you need to compare two types of wire here. First wire, which is its full length of 6 meters, and the second part when your length becomes half its original length, that is 3 meter. So first your wire is 6 meter and second time your wire is 3 meter. So let's name this as L1, this as L2. Now we also know that there is a relation between resistance and length. We've learnt in your lower classes that R is equal to rho L by A, which means that R is directly proportional to length. If your resistance increases, length increases, and if your length increases, resistance increases. So if I divide my length by 2, that is, I am breaking my wire into two halves. If my length becomes L by 2, what will my R become? R will also become R by 2. Therefore, if my length is 6 meter and it is becoming half, then if my R is 22 ohms, that will also become half. Why? Because R and L are directly proportional by the formula R is equal to rho L by A. So my R will become 11 ohms in my second case when the length is cut into half. So this is my R1, this is my R2. Now you know that whether I cut my length or I cut my wire into any half or 1/4 or any length, my voltage won't change because that is the source with a potential difference of V. So V remains the same, that is 220 volts. Now what have they asked you to calculate? It has a resistance of 22 ohms. Can we get more heat? Now they have asked you to calculate heat. So what is heat? To calculate heat. But you know the formula for heat says, H is equal to P into T. Now have they given anything related to time here? No. There is no given part which is given in your sum which gives you the time required or the given time. So can I use this formula to calculate heat here? No. If they haven't given me the time, what do I have to calculate then? I have to calculate the power instant of heat. So you know what is heat? What is the formula for power here? So what formula can we use here? We have 3 formulas or 4 formulas for power. What is it? P is equal to V square by R, P is equal to IV, or P is equal to I square R. So let's say I have resistance with me, I have voltage with me. So which is the formula which says about resistance and voltage? It is resistance and voltage. So this is the first formula which I can use in my sum because they have given me both R and V to calculate my power. Now again understand, they have asked you to calculate heat, but as they haven't given you time, we have to calculate the power instead of heat. And we know that H is equal to P into T, that is H is directly proportional to P. If my power increases, obviously my heat will increase. So I'm going to use P is equal to V square by R. So this is my formula to be used. Now this part actually we don't have to write. I have just written so that you can understand the relation between resistance and length. So my solving starts from here. Okay. So P is equal to V square by R. For the case 1, that is case A, when length is equal to 6 meters, my P is equal to V square by R1, that is P1 is equal to V square by R1. What is my V square? 220 square upon R1 is what? 22. Now how will I write my V square so that I can make my division more easy? 220 into 220 upon by 22. So I know that 22 ones are 22 ones are. So this comes out to be 10 into 220. So this comes out to be 220 and the 0 I'll write it here. Okay, so this is my power, that is P1. Also don't forget to write your units. Power is always in watts. So for the second part, for B part, when my L is equal to 3 meters, what will happen? My P2 will be V square by R2. What is my V square? Again 220 square. R2 is 11 now and not 22, remember. So this is, again I'll split my R square as, V square as V into V, that is 220 into 220 upon 11. Now again 11 ones are 11 twos are. So this is 20 into 220. Now what is this? 2 into 22 is 44, and these two zeros I will place them as it is. So my P2 will be 4,400 watts. Now you can decide which power is more. Obviously, when the length is 3 meters or when the wire is cut into half, my power is greater. This means that heat will be more when wire is cut into half. Okay, so this is my conclusion. Have I attained my conclusion? What have they asked? What if, can we get more heat if the wire is cut into half of its original length and shaped into a coil? Yes, the heat will be more when the wire is cut into half. So this is our first solved example. Now let's move on to the second solved example. And what does it say? A cell is connected to a 9 ohm resistance because of which heat is 400 joules. Heat of 400 joules is produced per second due to current flowing through it. Obtain the potential difference applied across the resistance. Now let's write down first what is given in this part. So what is given? I can see a resistance here. So R is equal to 9 ohm, because of which 400 joules of heat is produced. So H is equal to 400 joules. And time is equal to what? 1 second per second, right? Per second is nothing but 1 second. Obtain the potential difference across the resistance. Now what we have to obtain here is potential difference, that is V. What is V? Now you need to interpret now very wisely here, because if I have my H and T with me, what can I calculate? We know that the formula for heat is P into T. So can I calculate power using H and T? How? I'll just write it down here. P is equal to H by T. So you got one more formula to calculate power. This was one, this was one, this one, this is one, and the fifth one is this now. Because using the heat and time, we can calculate power. So same formula I'm going to use here. So power is equal to H by T. So what is this? Power is equal to H by T means 400 joules upon time is equal to 1 second. So that is 400 watts. Fine. Now what have they asked you? What is the potential difference? Now potential difference formula, if you know, where can you see potential difference now? You can see here actually V is equal to IR, but have they given you any current? No. So forget about this formula. Here also we require current, here also we require current. Where do we not require current? Even here we require current. So this is the only formula where we do not require current. That is P is equal to V square by R, and you have V here. So how can we use this formula is P is equal to V square by R, you know. Therefore V square is equal to P into R. Okay. Now what is it? You have your P with you. It is this. You have your R with you. It is this. So you can solve your V square easily. So your V square is equal to P, that is 400 into R, that is 9. So your V square is equal to, V is equal to square root of what now? 400 into 9. So V is equal to 400 into 9. 4 into 9, 36. Fine. So V is equal to square root of 3600. Now you know that 36, square root of 36 is 6, and square root of 100 is 10. Therefore it is 60. Now how did I do this? I'll just show you for your simplicity. So this is nothing but 36 into 100, that is square root of 36 into square root of 100. So what will it give me? I'll just write it down again. V is equal to what? 6 into square root of 100, that is 10. That is square root of 36, I've written at 6. Square root of 100, I've written as 10. And therefore 6 into 10, V is equal to 60. And you know it is always volts. Or you can also write V is equal to 60 volt. Fine. So this is your entire second solved example that is given in your textbook on page number 50. Okay, so now let's move to the third sum in your solved examples that is given in your page number 51 of your textbook. So what does it say? An electrical iron uses power of 1100 watt when set to a higher temperature. If we set it to a lower temperature, it uses 330 watt power. Find out the electrical current and the respective resistances for these two settings. They've also given the iron is connected to a potential difference of 220 volt. Now I have already written down what is given in the sum, and what is given is, it has given what is the power for higher temperature. You must have observed in your houses that the iron has 2 or 3 settings, that is for cotton, for silk, for nylon, and for those temperatures, for those type of cloths, there is different type of temperature that is internally set when you rotate that knob. Now when you set it to a higher temperature, the electrical iron here, it is using 1100 watt. So power for P1 case, I have given it. Power for P1 case is 1100 watt and power for P2 case is 330 watt. Now the potential difference they have given, that is 220 volt, and that I have mentioned over here. What have they asked you to find? Find out the electric current, that is I1 and I2 is equal to what? Also their respective resistances, that is R1 and R2 is equal to what? So you need to find these four things: I1, I2, R1 and R2. So let's start finding what is I1. Now how will you do it? What do you have with you? P, V, this is V, right? Potential difference is nothing but V. You have with you P, V, and you need to find your I. So let's have a look at the formulas. What can we use? You have your P, V, you need to calculate I. As soon as I look at the list of the formulas with me, I can identify which formula to be used where. Therefore, you need to make this list of formula before you start solving sums, and then eventually you will get a habit of looking into these formulas and solving your sums, and after a particular time you will start remembering these formula one by one. Okay, so please follow this method. So P is equal to V into I. So using this formula we can calculate the voltage by V is equal to P by I. Okay, so what do we have to find here? First I'll write down what is the formula used. P is equal to V into I. Okay, so I'll just start solving. For case A, when my P1 is equal to 1100 watt, what will be my I1? So I1 will be P upon V. What is my P here? P1 is 1100 upon V is common. That is not changing at all. So after solving this, what will happen? You know that this is 11 ones are, 11 twos are, and this is 10. So 2 ones are, 2 5s are. So here it will become 5. I, what is the current, unit for current? It is amperes. So you need to mention that as well. For the second part, for my P2 is equal to 330 watt. What is my I? So I1 will be P2 upon V. That is equal to P2 is what? 330 upon V is what? 220. So after solving this, what will you get? 0 and 0 cut, and after, you can divide this by your 11th table. 11 twos are, 11 threes are. This is 3 by 2, and you know 3 by 2 is nothing but 1.5 ampere. So this is I1 and I2. Now what else is remained? You need to find R1 and R2 now. Now you have with you I1, I2. You have with you your V. So I is there with you, V is there with you. Can you find your R using the Ohm's law? What does the Ohm's law say? V is equal to IR. And you have your resistances with you. You have your voltages with you. You have your currents with you. So easily you can find your resistance. So the next formula that I'm going to use here is your Ohm's law. V is equal to IR. So again, case A, that is to find resistances. For case A, my R1 will be what? V by I1. What is my V? This, my I1 is 5. So can I divide this now? 5 4s are 20. 5 4s are 20. So this is 44 ohms. My R1 comes out to be 44 ohms. The case B now. In case B, my R2 will be V by I2. I2 is different, right? We have found out. This is, this is I2. So this is I2 will be 1.5. You have already calculated it. This is upon 1.5. Now, instead of going to decimals, what will I say is, can we substitute instead of 1.5, I'll substitute it as 3 by 2. Let's do that. 3 by 2. Now what will happen? This 2 in the denominator will go to numerator. I'll just make it clear to you. This will go here. It becomes reciprocal, right? So this will become 220 into 2 upon 3. Now if you find this difficult, please do not use this method. You can directly do this, or else you can use this method too. Okay. Now I will start dividing this. Okay, so let's start dividing this. 3 1s are 3 7s are 21. Carry over 1, 1 0, and 1 0 is 10. So 3 3s are 9, and carry over 1 again. So 3 3. This is recurring. So 73.33 into 2. Now when we multiply 73.33 into 2, this is 6, 6, 6, and then this is 14. With the 2 decimal places, it is 146.66 ohms, and which is given in your textbook as 146 ohms, taking it approximately. So you can write either this answer or this answer. They won't cut your marks. So this is how we have solved your numerical 3, that is solved example 3 on your page 51. What did we solve here? We have solved I1, I2, R1, R2, and the formula that I have used here is this and this. P is equal to V by I, and using this formula I have calculated my current. Current is P by V, that is P by V. And to find the resistance, we've used the Ohm's law. And how did I do that? V by I is equal to R. So R is equal to V by I. Remember that you need to do 2 cases here, because they have asked it for 2 cases. One for lower temperature and the other for higher temperature. So you need to clearly state that A is for higher temperature, B is for lower temperature, and then start solving your sums respectively. For cases A and B, find I1, I2, R1, R2. Okay, now let's move on to the next sum. That is the 4th sum on your page 51. Okay, so the 4th sum says an electric tungsten bulb is connected to a home circuit. The home circuit, that is the home electric supply, runs at 220 volt potential difference. When switched on, a current of 0.45 amperes flow through the bulb. What must be the power of the bulb? And if it is kept on for 10 hours, how much units of electricity will be consumed? Now imagine that is your tungsten bulb which is there in your room. So the tungsten bulb and the electrical supply that is provided to the tungsten bulb through the plug is what? 220 volt. So this is your voltage given. So write down in your given part, that is potential difference is equal to 220 volt. Then assume that you get your ammeter from your labs and you put it down on the circuit, and then you measure what is the current flowing through that particular circuit. So that comes out to be 0.45 ampere. Now you can calculate how much of power is consumed by that particular bulb, and also you can calculate if you use that bulb for say 2 hours, what will be your what will be your electricity consumed. Okay. So let's start solving this sum. So what we have to find? To find is nothing but power. So you have to find what is the power and also what is the total electricity consumed. Okay. What is the total electricity consumed? So start solving the sum. So which is the formula to be used? I have to calculate P. So you know there are many formulas to calculate your power. V square by R, V into I square by R. You can also use potential difference into current, or also you can use this formula as I have told you already. So what have they given me? I have V with me. This is nothing but V. I have I with me. V and I. So my P will be what? P will be V into I. Because I have these two with me, I am deciding to use this formula. Now let's start. So P is equal to V into I. Okay. So let's start solving. V is what? 220 into I is 0.45. Okay. So let's adjust this. If I shift this 0 here and it will become 4.5. You do understand how? 0.45 if I multiplied by 10, what will happen? This 0 will get shifted here and this will lead to 4.5. That is what I've used this 0, that is my 10, to multiply it with 0.45. So this is my thing which I need to solve now. So let's do that. 4.5 into 22. Okay, this is 5 2s are 10. Fine. Then 4 2s 8, 4 2s are 8, carry over 1 9, 0, 5 2s are 10, again carry over 1 and 9, 0 9 9 and 1 decimal place. Therefore this. So this has become out to be what? 99. This is 99. So my power has come out to be 99 watts. Now the bulb, so you can write here that the bulb must be of power 99 watt. So if it is kept for 10 hours, how much of units of electricity will be consumed? So you also have a formula for electricity, right? The electrical energy is equal to power into time. So using this formula, you can calculate how much electricity is used. So I will write down the formula here. Electricity, that electrical energy or electricity is equal to power into time. And this is nothing but E, your electricity. So your E will be power. You have your power with you now, right? 99 into time. Time is what? They've asked you that it is kept on for 10 hours. So in given, you can also write time is equal to 10 hours. Okay. That is into 10 hours and this is watt. So that is 990 watt. It is always written this way. Okay. Watt hours. So if you want to write this in kilowatt per hour, then what will be your answer? So, always electricity is mentioned in kilowatt hour. To do that, what will you do? You will divide this by 1000. So what will be your answer? Why did I divide this by 1000? Because I am multiplying it by 1000. K is nothing but 1000. So when I multiply something by the same number, I also have to divide it by the same number. So kilo is nothing but 1000. So it seems that I have multiplied here the sum by 1000 and therefore I am dividing it by 1000. So what will happen? 0.99. Why? Because my point is here right now. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 zeros. in 1000, therefore 3 decimal places it will jump to the left. This is kilowatt hour. E is equal to 0.99 kilowatt hour. Did you understand this? Okay. So this is what we have solved in our part 1 of the lecture for effects of electric current, and we have covered all the solved examples in your textbook. In the next part, we will be solving all the non-solved examples that are in your textbook exercises.